Okay, so now we have both pieces of our fabric. So we have our two pieces that are 11 by 17, 1, 2. We have our two pieces that are 11 by 13, 1, 2. And if you put them together, you'll see that this will be the front of my bag. The smaller pieces are the front of your bag. And again, I always recommend ironing just to get all these little wrinkles out. And then this big piece, the 11 by 17 piece, will be the back of your bag. So that when they are put together, they would look something like this. And then this would flop over and be, then you'd be like, oh, look at my Chromebook, dee, dee, dee. Okay? So that's where we are right now. The next thing you want to do is you want to get your batting out, and you want to do the same thing. You want to do a piece that's on the smaller side, that's 11 by 13. And then you want to do a bigger piece that is an 11 by 17 piece. Now I would personally probably try to cut it just a little bit smaller so that it fits in inside, and you don't have to worry about necessarily sewing up the sides of it. So maybe instead of an 11 by 12 or 11 by 13 piece, maybe you do like a 10.5 by 12.5 and a 10.5 by 16.5. What you're going to do that with scissors. Let me grab my scissors real fast. You do not want to use a rotary cutter on batting. It won't work nearly as well. So you have your small thing of batting that looks something like this, and when you open it up, here you are. You can tell I've used some of it. You have some smaller pieces. So you can always take your pieces, and you can say, okay, like how big this is, a 17 piece by well, it's almost perfectly by 11. So if you'd flip it a little bit, by 17, you think, okay, 10.5. You just cut up the side. If you have good cutting scissors, they should just work like this. And the nice thing, if you have scissors that are only for fabric, they will almost be flat on one side. So you just put them down and you cut across. Now you might say, okay, I want to cut off, make sure the ends are nice. You can do that. So here's my roughly 10.5 by 17 piece. And then here's my other side. Thank you. Again, just the goal is just to kind of make it just a little bit on the even side. So there we have it. So there's one piece of fabric, or one piece of batting. Nice and simple. Now if you're thinking, I don't know if this is thick enough, you are always welcome to double up on your batting. It is completely up to you on how thick you want your Chromebook cover to be, or maybe how often you think you're going to drop it. So if you are kind of a clumsier person, you might think, you know what, I probably need more than the standard. There's also different types of thickness when you buy the batting, so keep that in mind as well. All right, so then we need our 11. We just did a 10.5 by approximately 17, and so now we're going to work on our 10.5. So you see here there's just some extra pieces. Now you never know when you need to stuff something. So again, you want to try to do it from the edge. So let's see here, 10.5. There it is. This is 10.5 by, so the 10.5 maybe by 12.5. So you can always try to find the 12.5 marker on your mat. And you think, okay, that's where I need to cut to. I can see the 10.5, and this one isn't quite as necessary to be super exact like your fabric is, because this is going on the inside, so it's not quite as dramatic. And it doesn't have to be nearly as exact. So we want to see, where is that 12 and a half line? It's way down here. Okay, so I can cut right here and cut across. Now if you'd rather it be exact, like, that's absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But again, this batting, no one is going to see or even really know about, because it's going to be on the inside of your fabric. All right, so once you're done with this ruler and with the rotary mat, you can go ahead, fold them up, put them away in the cabinet, and we'll call it a day. So that is cutting your fabric, your liner, and your batting. You are now ready to move on to the next step, which will start in just a moment.